Hello and welcome to what I think it depends. If people like watching this game, I'll play more of it. I'll record more of it. It's a super niche game that I don't know why. I've had the craving to come back to Rule the Waves 2, a game where you play as one of these nations. There's actually some bonus nations down below, and you start in the 1900s. So you have like old steam powered battleships, and like they're like multiple caliber cannons and whatever, and you can also design your destroyers and your cruisers, and it's a really fun game where you're literally designing every ship as you go. And what happens in 1900 to 1940, 1960 is naval technology goes bananas. Like at the start you're basically doing steel versions of a Napoleonic ship. Don't get me wrong, they're modern-ish cannons and artillery, but later on it's like aircraft like carriers and battleships with like superimposed turrets that shoot over each other and like four cannons each, and like all the crazy stuff from World War II. So it's a game that's all about keeping up with the Joneses and being the like naval secretary top general and designing, building, and fielding these vessels to blow up. You play real-time battles with your vessels, which is so satisfying, but it's all about keeping up. So for this little like let's try, I have played before as Italy, which is a super strong country to play as a beginner because you kind of have the Mediterranean to yourself and it's not open oceans. I'm thinking that this time I was gonna play Germany. They have a bunch of like innate bonuses with some research types and some other historical bonuses. I'd rather go to Japan. And I think we're just gonna be a crazy Japanese person. We have bonuses to torpedo mounts and stuff like that. Naval aviation. Like I'm not really worried about the whole aircraft thing. I think it's a little too complicated for me at this time. But we're basically gonna learn this game together. It's going to be a blast. 1 second while I open up my channel. So not only that, but let's look around at the naval budgets, and these get multiplied by the size of the fleets. But 40,000 for the UK versus, sorry, below that is the historical naval budget, right? There's like an arcade mode that kind of balances all the starting budgets out, but like the UK has 40k, Russia 16. France 16, Germany 16, Austria 10, Italy 10. The US has 26, and see how the arcade brings it up closer to 40. It brings it up to 32, and same thing, 32, 36. So the naval budgets get buffed up, and they will expand over the course of the game as we get more and more involved in wars, and especially successful wars. Japan starts with a measly 10 that goes up to 20. But the thing that's fun about Japan is we start in our own neck of the woods. These guys, they have to send ships all the way over to us, where we have the advantage of our like home field advantage in the Pacific. The U.S. is probably still scary. So let's jump ahead with that. We're really good with torpedoes, basically, and some other like airplane stuff. We're going to play on large fleet size. You can go insane, but at one point it becomes like an Excel game. I'll go larger. Our name is of course a cereal box. Oh, and sorry, I meant to be playing the chillax and tunes here. So let's I guess this one's a little bit more beating. What about this one? All right, there we go. So this is a thinking man's game. So I was just doing some test games. I did play long ago, apparently in 2020, I was playing a game as Italy, and I got 30-something years into that, and it was kind of a blast. It was a good time. So a cereal box. We are going to put on historical resources because I'm a glutton for punishment. Our naval budget is a quarter of that of the UK, and half of most of our opponents. We're going to put on harsher peace deals because in this game, you can do really well in the Navy, but like you're only ever seeing the naval side of things, so you could be losing the war, like the ground war or the other political things. Harsher naval peace deals mean that if you fail at sea, you're really going to get punished for it. But if you succeed at the like naval battles, you're more likely to get rewarded as well. And we're also going to build a manual legacy fleet, a race slot 2, and what that means is that we're going to design all of our starting ships ourselves. So rule of the waves 2, design the existing ship. Let me go ahead. We're going to this larger screen here. This is the interface that we have here. It's pretty sick. Let me just... I'm almost worried with my screen capture that it looks small on my end. Let me just make my head a little bit smaller as well. I don't want to hide that top right area. Well, I guess I can just pin myself all the way down on the ground here. I'll try and line myself up with that. All right, so here we are. We're gonna build our starting navy. We are Japan in January of 1900. Every turn is a month. It's a turn-based game. And we're going to start designing our very first ship. You can see here is how all the other countries feel about us. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's jump straight into designing our very first ship. For some reason, that brings up the design pane over here. So this here is our design pane. We're going to start. We can't even get BBs, dreadnoughts. Let's just start with a destroyer. And we're going to design potentially 2 of a couple of our types of ships. The destroyer might not be too bad, but basically we'll start off and just let the AI auto design it, and you'll see what we're looking at. We're actually going to get into real-time combat with these ships when we get there. But basically what this has done for us is it's given us... What caliber turret is this? Gun turret caliber 3. Okay, sick. So basically this has given us a destroyer with a pretty small size, so 500 displacement. That's an important number. Freeboard normal, you can make it low, but then it's not good for ocean waters. This is what I did a lot as Italy in the Mediterranean, because you don't have to worry about the ocean very much. We're in the Pacific. It's a short range hull, and what we can do with it, it's coal. Belt coverage, we're doing 0. It's a very fast ship. And all it's meant to do for us is it has a 3-inch cannon, which is good, right? Like, you know, we could go and put like a massive cannon on it, but we probably don't even have the technology for that. But what's really important is it has 2 swivel center mount frickin' torpedo launchers, which is incredibly good for us. It has a engine in it that allows to get to 27 knots, 500 yards. And instead of calling it the Hikazi, let's look at our, once again, we always go to our comment section for names. Yakovo, you are our very much Generation 1 destroyer. Your job is to rush into the enemy at top speed, drop some torpedoes, and absolutely wreck them. This is how we are going to cost effectively destroy other people's battleships. Let's check that this is correct. This ship has cramped accommodations and short range, which means that it's not really good to be sent far away from where we're at. Let's hit OK on this. Save the ship design. And do you want to build the ship? Yes. We need to build, I don't know. How much money do we have? We have $200,000. Let's build a dozen destroyers. So that is our starting group of destroyers here. Now, let me just click on the map here for funsies so you can understand where we're at. So Japan is all the way out here in Northeast Asia. This is our sea zone. The world is divided into a bunch of sea zones. And what we're going to try and do is pick fights with Russia, maybe France and Germany later, but Russia early on. And we're going to try and use our home field advantage to grow out of here. Now, I can also put on our invasion ranges. Our ports can invade other people's ports this far away. So we could invade some Russian ports, but until we get some technology and naval warfare, we can maybe get Hong Kong. It looks like barely. But we could not fight the British. We might fight other nations to up our prestige. And when you're at war, you'll get more funding from the government. So we are kind of bad people in that we want war. Oil producing possessions: Western Russia, Austria-Hungary, Burma, some neutral. So Burma, USA, USA. Okay, so we really don't have many great options for oil. Means we're going to be on coal for a long time, like the Japanese nation was. All right, so let's go back into... Oh, and while we're here, ships in service. So this is our first ships. Let's look at the almanac, and we'll see... Oh, we're the first ones to build our ships, so we can't see what the enemy has. But you can see our naval budget, 56. We're on par with Italy, almost half of Russia. And actually, I said a quarter. We're more like a fifth of Great Britain. So we're going to have to be very effective with our home field battles here. Let us design a new ship. Let's get our battleship. And what I would like to do is for our battleship, we're going to say that we built it in Great Britain. And hit auto. So this here is our first battleship. It's got 2 sets of 12-inch guns, which is pretty sick. It's got 4 torpedo launchers, which is quite a bit. And then also we've got a secondary gun down here. So we got 14 of these little guns. They're casemates. So once again, picture a you know the main guns on the top of the boat. That's what we have here and here, right? Big cannons. They turn into turret. The turrets themselves are armored. Great, good stuff. But casemates is more like, think of Pirates of the Caribbean, the pirate ships, or a Napoleonic tall ship. All the cannons in rows all along the body of the ship. Well, that's kind of like a modern version of that. It's like an encased artillery piece that's in the hull of the ship. And the problem with it is you have less control on the angle, because as the ship goes over waves and stuff, you know, the casemates are going with it. So they're not as accurate by any means, but 5-inch guns, 5 caliber guns, pretty good. There are also tertiary guns, so a third set of guns that are 3-inch. So if any small ship gets close to this battleship, we're shooing it away. Now remember though that all of these guns, the 14 and 16, they can only shoot one way or the other. So good stuff. We also have a belt, which is good. I think there's a way of clicking gun data here. So yeah, you can see that this is how much the guns can penetrate on each shot. So from 5,000, like we can penetrate 7 inches of belt from 5 kilometers away, just shooting. And belt is the side armor of the ship, deck is the top armor. So right now, guns don't really shoot that far. So there's not much hitting the deck. So what we have on the far left here is 11.5 inches of belt armor. We are immune to ourselves if we were fighting a ship that was designed our own way. But we have -1 on the quality of our cannons. So we do have apparently good 7-inch guns and 8-inch guns that are quality 0, so they're not like experimental. 5-inch guns and below are also good. So it's fine if our main guns are really big, but -1 means they're not going to be very accurate. But we know we're using 5s and 3s on our smaller calibers, so that's fun. Central rangefinder. Do we actually have that technology? That's awesome. And because local only is like your gunners at the cannons themselves are aiming, as opposed to having a big tower, which is like represented with this graphically, saying shoot at this angle at these degrees and hopefully we'll hit the baddies. So good stuff. Oh, a little show firing arcs. See, nice, good stuff. Displacement. So we're building this in Great Britain, and that's how we can get to this displacement. It's a pretty slow ship at 17. The freeboard and the fittings are medium. Pretty good. Let's do a quick check. It says all okay. Weight remaining. We do have a couple 100 pounds weight remaining. But see, here's the thing. Like, if we upped our armor, let's say to 11, we actually do have enough. That's pretty crazy. This belt is around the citadel, the important part of our ship. It's the belt extended that's really expensive. Usually put on. But let's go heavy on belt, and we're actually going to try and close distance with people and be right in their faces. We have to save 9 pounds of displacement. We could always lower the amount of ammunition, but That's not really what I'm about. Let's go to 11. There we go. So we're using every pound of weight on this bad boy, and we've upped its belt and belt extended in the hopes of getting close to enemies and just pelting them. But that's not really how you're supposed to use battleships, because you're always vulnerable to torpedoes. But doesn't mean we're not going to use them like that. So that's great. Battleship. This is not the Ashashi. This, you know what? Our first battleship, I think it almost needs to be our boy Rossaroni. I just want to find his most recent comment. Rossoneri. Rossoneri? Very good. Love it. Check design. All good. Save. Now, this is an expensive ship. So, how much does it cost us? 50. Oh. 2 of these are half of our remaining budget. Insane. Insane. Actually insane. So these ships, the Rossaroni and the Fuji, which is a Rossaroni class ship, is like actually insane for us. Now we definitely need not a aircraft carrier battleship. We need a light cruiser. Let's auto design just to be sure that we start with something compliant. So this is using the 5-inch guns, which we like. Arguably, we could go up to the 7-inch guns, but maybe we'll leave that for the armored cruiser. This cruiser is pretty happy. It's got a couple of torpedo tubes. Above water tube. No anti-aircraft, no mines, no anti-submarine warfare guns. This also has a bunch of tertiary or secondary guns, 4-inch. But the problem with the 4-inch guns is that they are in positions where only half of them will be firing. But they're not in casemates, they are in like actual turrets, it would seem. So I'm actually pretty happy with the design of this ship. The only thing I would think is you don't really armor your cruisers. I'm not sure how much a 1/2 inch of armor really matters. I don't think it'll do much, but what's the change in cost? Where's the cost? So up here, 2,000 something. Oh, sorry, the bottom is the total cost. It's just 100 more. All right, so we actually like this. It's not the Izumi. And now we're gonna look at chat here. Our Ryan Petty class cruiser. Oh, 1/2 thick. If it's not allowed, why are we doing it? Where are we allowed to put it in? Okay, well, we'll just can I up the deck by a 1/2 inch? I really can't. Okay, well, we'll have a little bit extra room. Right now we can load more ammo on it. It only adds up the cost a tiny bit, but that's so many shells. Like, we don't need that many per gun. This is fine. It's just fine. Let's hit it. Ryan Petty, you're in. You're a nice little destroyer. We might have been able to add more secondary guns, actually, but let's go. We would like... I mean, cruisers are pretty sexy. Let's get 6 of them. Now we have $30,000, so we might only get like one of these armored cruisers. But let's have a look. Auto design ship. 8 caliber is our highest caliber. That's happy. We can also go with the 5 calibers on the side. I don't think we have the technology for doubles, but we can go with singles. I don't really like where they're placed, to be honest. Now, we can also add more turrets. The problem is that we're so low on technology design that, like, we don't have that many great positions to put these guns. It's kind of better at this point just to have more side cannons. Now, this is also at our local yard. This is a maximum weight. I don't want to design this at someone else's yard. But we're at maximum weight, so how are we going to make this work for us? This is something I want to be able to send to the colonies. Right now, it costs 48,000. Oh. Okay, what if we made it... Oh, look at that. Look at the difference in cost just by lowering the engine speed by 1 knot, by 2 knots. Insane. So perhaps we can get a hilarious number of guns. Note, turret A main run less than 9 inches without reliable training gear. Rate of fire. Oh, so this needs to be a 9-inch gun? Huh, okay. Well, let's way lower our side cannons, and perhaps... Can this be an 8-inch side cannons here? We can go with maybe 4 of them? 6 of them? We're back up to $40,000, but... Can we check this? These have to be 7 inches or less. Okay. Because we don't have technology for hire. Roos, lack of accurate training and elevation gear for secondary turrets. So what if I made them casemates? All okay.
Any ideas?
So we only have like $30,000, which scares me. Because I don't know how I'm going to afford this ship. Maybe we just make it a honkingly slow. 35k. I think we only have like 30. I should have done 1 fewer destroyer. I mean, this feels like an incredibly powerful ship, though. 9-inch guns, 7-inch caliber side cannons. It's using the whole size of our ship. It can be sent to the colonies. If we had short range, it wouldn't. Now, what if we did speed, reliability? I mean, reliability is a heavier engine. Speed is a... It's kind of a cheaper one because it can only max out at that speed. The problem is that it's just so expensive. We've designed what we want, but it's expensive. Can I even put another set of cannons? Oh, what? Quality -1? Oh, they need to be 8 inches for us to be happy. You know what? This is not a super happy vessel. It really isn't. These are short range cramped accommodations. What we're going to do instead with our last $30,000 is we're actually just going to get another destroyer. This destroyer is going to be built at our local yard. We're going to get the computer to start it off for us, but we're going to go medium range, speed priority. Actually, this is kind of what I was looking for. So this type of destroyer is for like sending it to the colonies, basically. It's maybe we'll even make it 100 tons heavier. I don't know, man. I want to keep them really cheap. Why are you too heavy? Because of your 2-inch secondary weapons? Swivel mount torpedoes. What if we made you a little bit slower? So I really don't want to go any lower, but 20, they need the speed. I could do less cannons, but what if I did no cannons? What? This could be 4-inch guns? 5-inch guns even? No, that's too heavy. 4-inch guns and then strap some ammo away from them. So 2 4-inch guns, no little guns, but then the 2 torpedoes. And this here, who else? David Stone, the David Stone destroyer. If he was like David Dupuy, his initials would be the classification of his ship, and that would have been fun for me. Too many centerline gun and torpedo mounts. I mean, I want torpedo mounts. Let's clear all. Let's clear the centerline swivel mount. I thought we could add double. So centerline swivel mount. I mean, it's so important to have. Apparently, I want to keep this design, but I want it to auto-complete, you know? Because apparently we've got too many tubes on the center line. And maybe it doesn't count if they're 3-inch. Does it count if they're 2-inch? Okay, I see. And what if we delete one of these mounts? It's still heavily crowded. And then 3-inch? Oh, this is a little bit more of a gunboat than I want it to be, because it's turret focused, but I guess for the colonies that's fine. It's our suicide boys at home that need the double turrets, because that's where we're expecting the larger engagements to be. Accommodations normal, range medium. I mean, at that point, can I add a couple cannons? A couple of 2-inch cannons? A couple of 2-inch cannons? Too many secondaries. Okay. All right. There we go. This is the David Stone. It's all ready to go, and we are ready to start the game. So, I would love to go to the build dialogue. Let's get... 6 of them is a little bit overkill, but we don't have any heavy destroyers, so being able to put all that out there is good. We are ready to start the game. We're keeping 20,000 on hold because we're a bit crazy, to be honest. Because we're a bit crazy. We're going to try and survive the early game and hopefully run into some new technology sooner rather than later. Because these battleships are amazing, but we're going to have to design new battleships for our at-home fleet with cramped accommodations, short range. It's just, they cost like 50,000. Build ships. Right? Build ships, the Rossaroni, 50,000. Insane. That was almost as much as that destroyer we were designing, right? Insane. Let's, I mean, the destroyer was maybe overpriced. So let's go ahead and continue. Well, maybe, can we build the dock size? So that takes a whole year, and our dock size is going from 10 to 12. What we're going to hopefully do is, that's as big as ships we can build in our local port. What we're going to try and do is, I don't need preferences. There was something I wanted to do here. Oh yeah, research, but that's gonna when we start the game. Perfect. So we need to send, if we look at the map, we go here, South Asia, force requirements 5,000. So that means that we can send ships here. So move ships. This is like the worst way of moving ships. Let's go ships in service. These, a cruiser and a couple of David Stones are all going to get moved to, where is it? South East Asia. So that... Can I see what that looks like on the map? So that is adjusted force in the 4,500. So we need another cruiser, perhaps? And another destroyer, just to be safe. So we are going to hold on to our colonies and make them feel good with the fact that they've got a whole bunch of things. So map. And this is just a requirement because we have colonies. So we have 2 cruisers and 4 destroyers out here. And in our main area, we've got a battleship, 4 cruisers, and 14 destroyers. Absolutely great. Except for the fact that, let's hit continue here. I'm finished building my initial fleet. Select ships under construction. Oh yeah, we can build a ship under construction. So I think we get half credit on this. So armored cruiser. This is where we're going to get our armored cruiser. Actually, I hate the technologies that we have for it, though. 10 inch is good. 7 inch. See, the problem is that we can't put 8 inches on the side, right? Yeah. I'm not, I don't think we want to have any ships under construction right now. We're going to want them very soon, but we're going to continue and let our monthly balance add up. Actually, if you don't have enough spend going on, they get pretty unhappy with you. So let's, can we commission, build ship, 1 more Razzaroni? And that's going to cost, monthly build cost, 100? Because it takes so long. So now if we go to ships under construction, the Fuso is 15 months away and is using up a lot of our funds to build. $2,000 a month. There we go. Let us, what we're going to do, you're not going to believe it, is I'm going to set my espionage up. We want to spy on the British and the Americans to get their technology, and we want to spy a lot on the Russians to stoke unhappiness. I want them to hate me. Let's look at the map. I don't think we have any colonies anywhere else. No. And we can click on a bar graph to show how powerful people are in the region. So Russia's got like nobody here. Down here, we're close to France. And in Europe, it's pretty crazy. Okay. Well, that's fantastic. Let's actually start the game. It's only been 30 minutes. I'll put a cut in here. Well, let's hit continue. Are you finished? Ships under construction? Yep. And now we are ready to start playing the game. We're going to get events. We're going to antagonize other nations. We're going to put those ships to use. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.